y'all, Marvin here from Blacktop Banter. Really quick, just wanted to talk about the 800 Pavement Network. As you can see, we have some lettering there, lettering on our other truck over there, lettering on this truck here. They all say 1-800-Blacktop. We've been using the 1-800-Blacktop number here for the last couple years. It's really been exceptional for us as far as making things click with our branding, and now that we're in another state, those area codes are together. It's worked out fantastically for us. The other thing is that 800 Pavement Network has other advantages. There's group discounts on a lot of the products and materials that we use within our industry. We're part of over 300 different, see that one? Over 300 different contractors that are now using these numbers all over the country. That's combined over $2 billion in gross profits. So if you've been thinking about it or you're curious about it and you're like, well, oh, should I or shouldn't I? DM me, message me, or reach out to 800 Pavement Network. You can find them online through their website. You can call 1-800-Pavement and you'll get them as well. They'd be happy to run you through kind of the advantages and everything else that we've been taking advantage of here at Wiscoat and Dubuque Asphalt Maintenance, and how it can benefit you as well. Once again, if you're curious about it at all, you can always DM me. So yeah, 1-800-Blacktop. You can DM me or message me or email me through the podcast or Wiscoat or wherever as well. I would love to talk to you about how it has helped us. What is up, everybody? This is Marvin from Blacktop Banter. On a little bit too much coffee today. It's late November, and we have a lot going on here at Blacktop Banter. So I'm trying to stay energized. This is going to be a quick one today. Something I think we should touch on going into the off season. And as I said, I'm on coffee and caffeine. So if I go too fast, please forgive me. We are going to be moving Blacktop Banter into its own office, one town over in Spring Green, Wisconsin. So we're excited for that. So this background, I know you can't see it on the audio version, but on the video version, this background will be changing soon, hopefully, as we move into our new office, get everything situated there and start recording the podcast and doing all our videography and whatnot there, as well as we leave the Wiscoat office. Now, Wiscoat will stay here. For those of you who come visit and hang out, you'll still be able to come see the Wiscoat office and see the guys and go out with us if that's what you want to do and all that stuff. But for the meantime, we will be moving one town over. They're just getting too big to have together so much anymore. So, I'll be in here recording a podcast and somebody will come in and say, hey, the spray wand's leaking, or the valve broke on the bulk tank, or something with the truck. So to avoid all those distractions and everything kind of getting coagulated together as far as paperwork and priorities and whatnot, we need to have those separated. So I'm very excited for that. Looking forward to that as well this week. I have been on the road quite a bit. We'll be here for a week or so. And then Ignite Conference will be coming up here December 7th through 9th. I hope I get to see you all there, as I will be there moderating and hanging out. And then I'm going to stay still, right, until probably MPE. So that gives me a couple months. And I really need this time in order to get everything in order. But for the meantime, some of those things in order are things with Wiscoat and Dubuque Asphalt Maintenance, and some stuff with Blacktop Banter. So that's kind of why I wanted to touch on that a little bit with you today. This is Blacktop Banter. I believe it's episode 86. Don't hold me to that. I will check it when I go to post it here today. But one thing I wanted to speak about was off-season relations. And this could be with vendors. This could be with property managers. A lot of people. I think that that's something that we don't often focus on very much in the off season, right? We kind of do it as we build up to when we need things in the spring, but the climate has changed in our industry, most predominantly in the line striping section, but it has as well in seal coating and crack sealing and those types of things. So I wanted to give you a few examples of what I'm talking about and things that have worked out for us as far as vendor relations with Wiscoat over the years. Most predominantly, as you've probably always heard me say and speak about, has been our relations with our seal coat vendor, um, our sealer vendor, however you want to say it. Um, that's been our biggest one. And obviously that's our bread and butter. So that stays very important to me that we make sure that we do that the way we need to do it when it comes to that relationship in order to make sure that we have material come spring. Now, that has always worked out with us. We've never had an issue, even when there were rumblings of issues, right? But the other thing that keeping those relationships up has allowed us to have opportunities for equipment and allowed for opportunities for connections to be made through our seal coating vendors. Ours is the Pekalski family here in Wisconsin and Minnesota, as we do get sealers shipped now from Minnesota to Lone Rock here. You know, logistically, I think it's even for them either way. So for me, what does that look like, right? What does that look like with our seal coating vendors? So I will kind of touch bases here at the end of the season because they keep track of our numbers too as well as far as gallons we use. So I like to kind of just double check those with them as far as that goes. And then I'll ask just general questions, you know, how do things look for the season? How do they look? Because I want to know those things. I want to know if they're doing well or not doing well. That will all play into my future as well as if I need to make some moves and do some things. So that's what we do. We usually have a lunch. I'll go over and talk to them and they have a lunch. I know that not everybody's vendors are like that. We don't buy the most gallons in the state. But obviously we have some influence and some branding power. So I think that has an effect as well. And then as it goes through the winter, we'll touch bases at National Paving Expo. And then if I'm looking for equipment or those types of things after that, I'll talk to them as well and just kind of see if they have their ear to the ground. Our bulk tank was purchased through them after they put us on like 4 or 5 leads for bulk tanks. And they've also kind of give us leads for seal coating rigs and actual full businesses to purchase and those types of things. So for us, they know, right? I know that I kind of know because I'm in a unique position and I kind of have feelers out for all my competition around here or people that are in the industry around here. So I know that I kind of know, but I know for a fact they know what's going on. So I kind of tug on their ears a little bit and keep those relations open. And I want to be sure during the middle of the winter, I ask them that we're on track and that they have me ordered. And I think I pre-ordered last year the sealer already. So I was on the docket to get it as soon as I could, as soon as that allowed, right? So that's how the relationship looks and how we keep it going with our seal coating vendor. When I jump to line striping, obviously that has been of great importance. When I talk about line striping, I don't mean my Titans, right? I mean the paint, right? The paint in general. So not only have I had great luck locally with our Sherwin commercial store, the reps I've had to jump around a little bit, honestly, truthfully. Ben Baszler is my rep here, and he does a fantastic job. But where we're close to the state lines in Illinois and Iowa, I can kind of ask them a little bit, especially now that we have a business in Iowa, if we can get some paint, right? If they have a lead on some solvent-based paint, it's no mystery. That's what we love to use. You know, we do that. And then we don't have a huge selection here, but our Seal Master has paint. Our Sherwin Industry, which I'll kind of get to that, they are mainly our crack sealing representative. But when I have a meeting with them, I go over, and we usually meet with them a couple times a year. Jeff is my rep there. I let them know what all we need, what all we're looking for, and that we want to be at the front of that. Like that it's very important to us that we have the opportunity to purchase those materials before anybody else. And they gave us that opportunity with paint this last year. Before I jump into other stuff with Sherwin Industries, and they're our Craftco rep here. I want to keep going on the line striping portion of it. when you think about that, right, and you think about vendor relations, I also have a great relationship with, I would say probably 8 to 10 larger line striping personalities within the industry. A lot of people from inside the Facebook groups and things like that. And we are always talking about paint availability, techniques, new things that are coming out, things we've seen. But they have actually put me on the lead for paint when I was worried we weren't going to have enough paint. They would spot things in the group that I couldn't keep up with and send it to me in Facebook Messenger. And we would go purchase, we purchased quite a bit of paint last year, just as an insurance policy. I got it fairly cheap. I'm still here. If you want it, give me message me and I'll sell it to you, as we seem to have enough supply now. What we use solvent wise, I'll sell it to you for the money back. But those are the relationships that are super important, right? So all these people are like, I don't need none of that stuff. I don't want to be part of that. I don't want to talk to them. Don't want to deal with that. Go ahead, I guess. But for us, that might save our ass at certain points. And for me, I'm obsessed about this stuff. You guys know that. So I want to be the one that wins. And if it means having a relationship and to openly talking about what we need, what we do, where we're falling short, where we want to grow, I'm totally open to that, man, because that has helped us gain advantages in our industry, in that aspect, whether it's people, whether it's our vendors, whatever it is. We've had great luck with that. That leads me to crack sealing. And I did write down 3. I also wrote down plus more. So if something comes to my brain, I'll kind of talk about that a little bit. But the crack sealing side, you guys heard me mention Sherwin Industries here in Wisconsin. They are our Craftco rep. Obviously, we use a Craftco melter. I actually prefer the Craftco rubber. I know everyone bucks because it's more expensive, but we prefer it. We believe it's higher quality and it makes it easier on us in a few different aspects that it makes it worth it. But they are the rep that, I kind of heard midsummer that it would be tough, maybe, or early summer, that it may be tough coming into the fall to get crack filler. Now, whether those, hearsay is founded or unfounded or whatever, I still don't want to be on the out of that. And that's the nice thing about crack filler. It's not going to go bad. So I started talking to our reps and saying, hey, I want to purchase large amounts of crack filler for oil jacketed and direct fire. Let me know when we can get some in. Now, there was some founded fact to that statement that I heard, right? Because they're like, well, we can get you 1 pallet in a couple weeks. Or, hey, we got 2 pallets in, you can have that, but that's it. So we weren't out, but there obviously was some foundingness. There was some backbone, I guess, to that statement, because if I would have wanted a trailer full, I probably would have had trouble right away. That's a big deal, right? So I know a lot of us out here in the industry use trailer fulls. That might be all they do is crack filling. So they need trailer loads, right, of crack filler. We didn't need that, but still, I still had to keep that relationship going, openly talking to them. My rep there texts me every week, if not every other week. Try stopping by when he's coming through. Obviously we're busy, so we're not always here, those types of things, but that's the kind of relationship you want to build. Now, if you're off-putting, or you're not open, or you don't show urgency or want or anything like that, chances of them calling you right after they call me or before they call me are pretty effing slim, because I have put out there and showed that, hey, I want to buy, I need it, we're going to use it. Never have they, they have called and been like, hey, we have it. And I'm like, I don't really need it yet, but I am going to need it in 2 weeks, right? So there's always that, hey, they're a supplier. They're supposed to supply you, right? So I put that out there every time, like, hey, I need supply. I want supply. If there's a chance at it, I want it. So it's very important to me. I will see some of those guys at National Paving Expo. When I'm in Milwaukee, I try stopping in. They try stopping here. It's I can't explain the importance of it. I watch guys in some of the Facebook groups, and I get DMs plenty of times through Blacktop Banter of we can't get material, or the old must be nice, right? They say that. It's not because I'm just happen to be me. It's because I'm on the horn all the time. Like, we're putting the urgency out there when I meet them. I'm like, hey, if I want it and I can't get it, I will go somewhere else. And if they can supply me regularly, I will go there, no matter how much I like the material. So it's important to me. And I think it's important to our vendors too. I'm going to stay on the vendor tactic here for a little bit, or the vendor point here for a little bit. We have outside vendors that we don't buy from that call us regularly, that want our business, right? So if I all of a sudden feel like my vendor doesn't appreciate what we do or can't offer what some of the other vendors offer, I have been swayed before in the past. I mean, we work with Sherwin because they offered better. And it started, I think the very first relation, they wanted our business bad enough that I think that the very first sale, they sold me a bomber jacket, a fluorescent bomber jacket for $30. Now we spend 5 figures, right, every year there. So that's a big deal, right? To start that and to get cracking on that. Now, to get outside of the vendor realm, as you can tell, I'm on caffeine, right? To get outside of the vendor realm, your relationships with people within the industry are major, and your first impression is major as well. I'll explain both of those. Your first impression, when you get in front of somebody or somebody reaches out to talk to you or whatever within the industry, excuse me, within the industry, pretty much says everything. So if you post in the group some obnoxious junk, in any of the groups, whatever you're in, some obnoxious junk, and that you're a jerk and you're there just to make jokes, or you're there to say whatever, and you have people in there that are serious about what they do and they're winning. So this goes whether you're in a text group or a coaching group, Facebook group, whatever. Chances of them taking you seriously again, or just offering information or advice to you of free will without you asking a question, is probably pretty slim. And let's be honest, if you ask questions, or you want mentorship, or you seek mentorship, or you just seek more knowledge, the only way that you usually get that is by asking questions. But if you develop a great relationship with somebody to where you guys just talk, right? And you hit it off and you have stuff in common and you're open, and they want to help you because they see that you're a go-getter, they just openly say things that you probably wouldn't think about, right? So those questions wouldn't have came up. That's a huge advantage to me. I'll take that advantage over them being off put by you to not even want to bother with you. So that's some advice, right? Free advice. Now, when you get a chance to have those relationships built and those opportunities built, take advantage of those. Okay. They have led to some of my greatest friendships in the industry and in life, right? You get to know people a little bit more. You start asking questions outside of how to make your business function to how to make your life function, which they go hand in hand, right? If you're a business owner in the industry, but also if you're upper management, right? If you're operations guy, if you're crew leader, to do what you do really well, which I hope that that's what you do. I hope that's your ambition, is to make wherever you're working improve in all aspects of whatever labor it is that you put into it and effort it is. I hope that you look to improve and be that person that is able to bring that, right? Because same way as you have a relationship with your team at your business, I'm not going to ask if you're able to offer information that anybody on your team doesn't know, and you got that through relationship, there's value to that. So for me, not only are the relationships with your vendors and people, that you directly get supply from very important, but the relationships within your industry are as well. That's why I always promote the industry. I try to show positive light, right? And I'll ask questions when I'm in the interviews or whatever, something that makes it advantageous to us. And I want us all to succeed. Obviously, with me, that comes, my forte is content creation and branding. And anytime that I get a chance to talk about that in general conversation, I do, because I know that people struggle with that. And I know the same way that I did a long time ago when everyone thought I was crazy for doing that type of stuff early on. I know that in the future, it is going to be the only way that you market, right? Um, of course, there's people that are always going to win with a yard sign, right? Or with hustling a job up or whatever. But to overall win at a large scale, you have to be the name that they know as soon as they think of whatever you're doing. So for me, I offer advice in that regard through the industry, through the groups, or just by even example, right? Um, so for me, those relationships are super important, not only for the longevity of my industry, but if we have better businesses that are doing better work, that are charging higher margins, that's a better win, 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 win all the way through for everybody. The vendors win, the contractors win, the industry wins, we win as friends within the industry. That's a win, win, win. So that's something I think we should focus on, right, over these winter months is the relationships. Even if you're not a contractor in the industry and you're just a business in the industry, right? If you're a manufacturer or a distributor or whatever, my distributor at Liberty Supply, um, they, sold us spray tips to begin with. I golf with Sam now, right? At Liberty Supply. We golf when we get chances to. We talk about our families, and then we'll talk about business shortages. And Sam will message me and say, "Hey, this is going to be in short supply. Do you want some before I sell out?" Yes, yes, I do. Right. So we look out for each other. Um, guys, I can't express that enough. I cannot express working on your relationships within the industry and your business and outside your business enough. Um, I know it's cool to be tough, right? But it's profitable to be nice. I think I said that right. Marco Mena can quote me on that. It's profitable to be nice. It just is. That's it, right? That's this episode. If you have questions on that, you have comments on that, I would love to see the comments in this YouTube video below. If you just want to DM me or you want to mention it in comments on another post, I post the clips of these to our Instagram and to our YouTube and that type of stuff as well. I would love to hear the comments and see the comments on this topic as well. And that reminds me, if you go to our YouTube channel, please subscribe, right? Turn on notifications, subscribe so you don't miss anything and what we're doing out there. And you can find us on TikTok, obviously. That's where we have our huge following. The podcast itself in audio format, you can find on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, I think 4 or 5 other places where you can listen to podcasts as well. You can find us Instagram. You can find myself, Marvin Joels, on LinkedIn and on Facebook. Feel free to reach out, DM us, email us, blacktopbanter@gmail.com, which is still at gmail.com. I think as we get our new website and we get our new office, people want me to be more professional. So I might change that to at blacktopbanter.com or something. But for the most part, that's where you can still find us. And as always, here at Blacktop Banter, I'll go old school a little bit. I will always want you to seal it, pave it, stripe it, and kill it. But also here, we speak asphalt. We hope that you do too. Hit us up. Talk to us. All right. Peace.